Welcome back to HoI3 3. Let's do a little Sunday morning stream. Italy in the Axis. Of course, on the HPP mod we're playing. Last time around we were fending off, or even at times advancing, against Allied forces in East Africa. Right now the situation is under control, but I think in the long run our forces are not enough to keep things under control in East Africa. So one of the decisions for Italy in this period is do we send reinforcements? And last time I was feeling negative about this, but I have thought about it, and I'm thinking, what is the point of having basically secured North Africa and Suez Canal if we are not going to capitalize on this? The problem with this plan is, while we have spare units, the Italian army is getting stretched thin. The ground forces, that is. And we also have this project of taking control of Greece and Malta and potentially Crete. So I think we will keep trickling in divisions. I don't think I can send a large army to Ethiopia, but I'm also seeing, of course, well, right now we're bombarding Nanyuki, which is a province that we were holding at one point, or controlling. We're bombarding it with 2 of our medium bomber wings. And we see that they have considerable forces in the area. 3 mountain infantry regiments, 3 cavalry regiments, 3 motorized infantry regiments, along with support brigades. And that's just in this province. Over here we have at least an infantry division. The Ethiopians are here. I mean, they help, but I can't rely on them. They are considerably weaker in their infantry. There are a lot more forces still waiting. I guess some of that is HQs, but I expect a lot more forces to be available for the allies here to fight. Seraya 25, good morning. So the idea is to put up a fight, and to that end I'm even willing to send in more divisions. But it feels like the allies are committing a lot of forces here, and I'm not sure how long we can sustain this. The Italian army now has a large territory to cover. I mean, we're still threatened by counter or by enemy landings on the Mediterranean. I'm not even able to garrison every port. There is Greece, there is Yugoslavia, which aren't secure in the Axis. Hungary joined, but you never know. On the upside, our navy is doing pretty well, especially against British. We have inflicted a lot of damage. But I think the immediate response will be to send mountain infantry or infantry. I think a mountain infantry division or two in this area could do a lot to prevent British from pushing back. I'm not quite sure what since they have motorized infantry, cavalry, and even light armor. And since this is all plains or excuse me, plains or desert, it will be tough to defend here without light armor of our own. So we might even have to send in light armor as well. Can we, if we don't start an offensive against Greece, our armor won't be immediately useful anyway. Can we free? These two divisions I only just recently shipped in from Egypt. Motorized infantry, light armor, and 2 mountain infantry divisions. I think that would be useful. I can't wait too long with reinforcements. Because if they start rolling the front back, it's going to be hard to stop their push. We do have an armor division here. I suppose this one could be shipped. It would be quite a commitment of forces. We could also use the naval infantry. Although I prefer to keep them in the Mediterranean theater. Yeah, I think we're going with mountain infantry. Okay, I'll have 2nd Alpini division turn around. That's 1 mountain infantry division. We can transfer some regular infantry to Albania and then pick up this mountain infantry division as well. It gives us 2. Plus the motorized infantry division, plus the armor division from Alexandria. I'm going to need... on the other hand, this division might be useful with the infantry support tanks. Yeah, then we'll leave... Okay. Yeah, we'll bring this division. Who's going to... Who's going to occupy Tel Aviv? I suppose we can bring an inexperienced division, one that just freshly came out of training. Yeah. Then who's going to accompany transports? We have a cruiser squadron in La Spezia, but they are being repaired only. Fourth and first squadron pretty weak, down to 5 ships. What is Campioni doing with 8 squadron? Don't have an order. It's interesting. Let's bring them back to Toronto. Will you play Darkest Hour or Victoria 2? I have those 2 games. And Darkest Hour I am somewhat familiar with, because I did play it off stream. And Victoria 2 I looked into, but I don't have much practice, but I'm very interested in those games as well. So I would definitely be interested in playing those on stream. Lone light cruiser transiting. We're under attack in Lamu. A total of 4 enemy divisions. And it feels like in the long run we won't be able to hold this. Right now I'm not able to counterattack. Well, I can, but my divisions in the north are disorganized. Buna is undefended. I really don't have any reserves close by. I have a militia division garrisoning Mogadishu. And I have my air force, but that's all. That's really all at the moment. We even get attacked in HoI3. The battle odds are changing. They cancel the attack on HoI3. I'm going to use my scout force, my 2 destroyers, or destroyer flotillas, to scout the Red Sea. Let's redirect this HQ to Ancona so we have the entire army assembled in Ancona. 8th Squadron is back. We'll send these 2 forces to protect convoys. Or troop convoys mainly. That's bad, I'm shipping my... That was not the idea, my light armor was not supposed to go to Venezia. Because some of these units have repaired, gone to the cover at least. It's okay. Putting some strength back into our fleets. Yeah, we'll send the escort out once the transports come back with the mountain infantry. Mechanical computing, advanced. Can you write an answer about Darkest Hour in chat? You can't understand me. Okay. Yes, of course. Wait. I'm gonna click out. I have to save the game because sometimes Hearts of Iron 3 crashes when I click out. See if I can bring back the game. I can. If you could tell me what's wrong with the sound. Because usually I test my sound settings with a video recording, and they looked fine. But if you could let me know what's wrong with the sound, I would gladly correct the problem. We have finished mechanical computing machine. Now ahead of time, so let's switch out of this. I think we have to focus a bit more right now. We still have 3 projects in industry. One of which will finish in August. Yeah, I think we'll shift our focus over. Okay, so the music is too loud, I think. I'm going to lower the music volume a little bit. I could also, I guess I can lower the entire game volume a little bit. Let me know how that works. Okay, so let's go back to research. I feel I think we should get started on these infantry techs. the constant attacks are wearing my divisions down. And this is bad. I'm going to have to ship in armor fast and motorized infantry to strengthen the southern portion here of the Somali flank, or of the Somali front. There is nothing between these two divisions and Mogadishu, which is my main base here. I suppose I can emergency counterattack. See if I can take off some of the pressure. And then we have a British submarine flotilla operating in the Mediterranean on our convoys. Let's execute some naval strikes. I'm considering moving some of my naval bombers. They could support the anti-convoy operation against the Allies. This entire portion of Africa is supplied via only these two ports. If I move a strong naval force into the Indian Ocean on the East African coast, I could deny the Allies a lot of supplies. It would take them considerably worse in their supply situation. I'm just not sure if I can commit this many forces out of the Mediterranean. The good thing is that we have some additional ships coming up. They're being commissioned or outfitted. 2 cruisers will be ready by mid-October. Destroyer flotilla by the end of September, and by beginning of November a light carrier, which could give aerial protection to any fleet that I would be sending into the Indian Ocean. I think this is what I have to do to take off the pressure. I'll send in additional divisions, 4 divisions, to strengthen my defenses, and I'll increase convoy raiding operations with surface units, and maybe I should redeploy additional submarine flotillas as well. This one is operating from Cagliari. One is operating from La Spezia. I need modern units with range. This one is badly damaged. That's not an option. There are no submarines left in Tarrant. Convoy attack 6. Okay, these two flotillas. This one is an old commander, old guard commander. I have two submarine flotillas here in the off the North African coast. Reasonably good commanders. Okay, they're both from Toronto. Alright, I'll redeploy these submarines. These two flotillas will rebase to Mogadishu as well. Oh, you're welcome, Sarai25. No, I want to make sure that you can understand me well. And I have to say that adjusting the audio settings is the hardest part. Here, our defense is not really working. We are counterattacking, but it doesn't really take off pressure. Oh, they cancel the attack on Lamu. Let's hope I can cancel the counterattack here. And the next attack follows immediately. And I desperately need an upgrade to my bombers. And now all three divisions here have support, although this Belgian division doesn't have any manpower. Strange. Trade offer from Romania. Supplies for some money. Yeah, we can accept this for a while. We'll cover our deficit, another attack. We need to reorganize. That's the problem. If my divisions were fully organized, I could withstand those attacks a little longer. It looks like there are no units here in the Red Sea. I'm going to feel confident and move up to Berbera. And I'll have my old destroyer flotillas patrol the entrance to the Red Sea. I don't know, I have absolutely no idea how much impact I'm having. But I hope I'm putting some pressure on the supply situation. My naval bombers are pursuing some British submarines. I only have some older destroyers in La Spezia, but I could control the area with some of them. An anti-submarine warfare mission. Trade offer from Sweden. Yeah, let's sell Sweden some supplies as well. Another attack. Which way? What's one division is attacking north, and 4 divisions are attacking west into Lamu. We have an armor division on the way. As well as 2 submarine flotillas. And we're sinking some South African transports. We're constructing an additional submarine flotilla. Battle of Wahir is won. Problem with these constant attacks and counterattacks is that doesn't give my divisions time to reorganize. Hungary calls in the reserves. What's going on? Hungary is at war with who? Is this... Wait, who's at war with who? So Hungary is at war, is in the Axis, of course. It joined maybe a few weeks ago or a month ago in game. So it is at war, of course, with all the enemies of the Axis. But I don't see the Soviet Union in here. That's good. So the war with the Soviet Union hasn't started yet, I hope. Let's check Germany to make sure. Non-aggression pact with the Soviet Union. Okay. Germany is embargoing Brazil. That's interesting. But Hungary is not at war with any of its direct neighbors, I think. Yeah, so they're just mobilizing their troops in a general effort. I wonder what the Germans are, why they're flying, where they are flying with their transports. What exactly they're trying to do. We're going to get pushed back here. Maybe I can get Ethiopia. Send in forces. Okay, we'll load this mountain infantry division. Finally, we'll go and pick up the other one as well. Transports go down, but we don't know what's in their harbor. But they have motorized infantry here, Belgian, but maybe they're out of manpower, so maybe that division is just basically a placeholder. Problem is, however, we're going to lose this province very soon. I'm going to pull back before these divisions completely lose organization. The good thing is this province will be under air cover again. I'll be able to use my bombers. We have upgraded cavalry to motorized infantry. Infrastructure is finished here, so now we should be able to move in all directions. Yeah, because now we have closed the infrastructure gap, so now we could even move along the coastline here. Light armor is arriving. This frees up a lot of IC, of course. We have 2 armor and a motorized division sitting in La Spezia, not doing much. They're part of 6th Army. Yeah, there are some forces here that we could theoretically redeploy. One mountain infantry unit on its way. French state trading with the puppets of Free France. No, wait. I think they're puppets of the Free State. Syria and Lebanon. Persia breaks a trade agreement. I think these units are faster. Motorized infantry, cavalry. Right, our transports with light armor arrived in Berbera. These are pretty modern destroyers. I could use them later in Mogadishu again as against enemy convoys. There are units moving here. Kind of right under my nose. What are we seeing here? There are 2 Italian submarine flotillas. That accounts for the 2 submarines, and then we see British transports, a British light cruiser, and 2 destroyer flotillas. What are we seeing here? 1 British submarine. Okay. Port strike Malta for a week and port strike Cyprus for a week. to gather some intel. Okay, both mountain infantry divisions will also... they will... Mogadishu is kind of far away from where I want them to be. I guess I'll just send them to Berber, that's close enough. What do we see in Malta? A lot of damaged surface units, 3 damaged battleships, 2 damaged heavy cruisers, 2 damaged light cruisers, a damaged transport, 3 carrier air groups. It's interesting how fast our light bombers get disorganized. Ah, wait. Now I have two divisions here. I could try to kick the allies out of Lodwar again. Counterattack. Maybe I should stabilize my front first. Two transport flotillas are ready. United States trading with Brazil. I'm going to move two of my fleets towards the Indian Ocean. See if we can do something about those British ports. We will not trade with Colombia. We're kind of running low on supplies anyway, so maybe I should actually cancel some of those supply exports. Yeah, I'm gonna cancel exports to countries that are not in the Axis. Although that will increase my deficit. A submarine flotilla has arrived. Also, British submarines are now in the area. And we will expand convoy raiding operations around Madagascar, into the Madagascar Strait as well. The transports have arrived with light armor. I think eventually we could do with some more. Yeah, we're going to exchange this commander. First of all, this division will be attached directly to the army group. This division will be attached to 4th Corps. Do we have a division commander? Telera will be promoted to Corps Commander. Division was heavily disorganized anyway. And now where's this Corps Command? Hello? Now I have a Corps Command here. Where is it? Ah, okay, now we can make Telera commander of this corps. We can attach it to the army. Because the thing is, we have an army group in Ethiopia. Now we can send Corps Command south. I suppose we can send it into the mountains. The Corps should take care of the northern flank. The one problem that I'm seeing is, of course, that we're abandoning the ports in our rear. At least some of them are unprotected. There is not too much that I can do about this right now. By assets, this is actually one of the biggest army groups right now, which makes sense. I mean, it's our most active theater at the moment. Going to reassign all those submarine flotillas as well. At least the ones that are operating in the Indian Ocean. So we have 4 squadrons left in the Mediterranean. And 5 squadrons are operating in the Indian Ocean. And we actually have reached parity in terms of divisions as well. So Africa is becoming a more important theater. At least our infantry divisions here have time to retreat and reorganize a bit while doing so. For some reason, these divisions here are not reorganizing well at all. And Sixth Squadron is here as well. Now, I'm curious where the convoys are coming from. I'm going to expand convoy hunting into this area as well. An attack with 2 divisions on HoI3, where we have 3 infantry divisions defending. Obviously HoI3 is going to be exposed when Lamu falls. I'll be counterattacking here. Two divisions have arrived in Chisimayo. Armor is on the way. Keep an eye on the supply situation. We have a lot of fuel and supplies here, which is good. I suppose we need it. I'm surprised that there are only 4 units. Let's ship in the next. Okay, so this is where the German transports are flying. I don't know why they are flying here. Are they shipping in supplies here? The Iraqi army is moving west again. And we have another CCNN division here, which will be shipped to Mogadishu. counterattack going on war here. Might be useful to fly in or redeploy naval bombers to Mogadishu. We have an airbase here. They could help with the attack on the convoys, and we have Rear Admiral Iocchino here with two considerably fairly modern destroyer flotillas. So here's what we're going to do. Let's try to do some convoy raiding with destroyers. Their convoy attack is weak, 1.9. Shame. Maybe that's not the best role for them. Battle of Wahir 1. Let's support the attack to the west with the 2 strongest division. Strongly protect the convoys in the Strait of Madagascar. So we'll redeploy this. Ooh. Took a hit to organization. What happened here? We have to keep an eye on our subs. I don't want to lose any of them. I don't know if it is other subs causing the problems. The 2 mountain infantry divisions have arrived. They will now travel over land. And I suppose the transport squadron can return. We'll rebase it to Toronto. The enemy is sinking convoys here. Yeah, so I can't really rebase the naval bombers right now. After a few bombing raids on Lefkosia, I remember having set the port strike mission until July 18. They have abandoned. They took about 20% losses in both regiments. We're going to have to wait. Our supply stockpile is rapidly falling. Let's see if we can... Germany's unlikely to sell supply supplies. The good thing is some of the allied troops are basically only existing on paper, so which should win us a few fights, a few battles. Which could mean we can take back Lodwar. Battle of Lodwar is won. We attacked with 52,000 troops against 12,000 allies. We have now a veteran army, better organization regain rate, and better land organization. That's very important. Bombers over northern Italy. Luckily, I am building fighters. Okay. Now we're going to expand operations into or towards the south. I think this is where we can sink most transports. The attack continues from the allies, but now only with one motorized infantry division. See some heavily defended convoys. while 6th Squadron is taking the eastern route along the Madagascan coast. Battle of Lodwar is won. I have to adjust the mission of my bombers. Six motorized infantry regiments with motorized support is what we're up against, but hopefully with the light armor moving in we'll be able to stabilize the front once more. Where's the mountain infantry? The mountain infantry can actually attach to 2nd Corps of the Italian East African Army. Defense, of course, is oh wait, carrier air group duty in the Western Turanian. What are we seeing here? A carrier, destroyer flotillas, and a light cruiser. The carrier group is moving north. They will run into 3rd Squadron under Quilici. It's not my greatest admiral, but I think we should take the fight. Additional infantry division with infantry support tanks arrived. Move it closer to the front. For the moment as an army reserve. Strong counterattack into HoI3. Now the British light armor is joining the battle. And we catch up with the British carrier task force. Question is, where are the British moving? They separated the battleship into light cruiser. What happened? Why did we free 2 IC? I suppose reinforcement. Demands for reinforcement have gone down. Okay, we keep the carrier air groups at bay with our interceptors. Those are 3 infantry divisions that we have in reserve for some operational flexibility. Not that I have the strength here to engage the Greeks. Right now, anyway. I do have more troops that I can pull total of 14 divisions with the 4 that I have in Albania. That's 18. Then I have a few more. I have one in Napoli. I have one in Syracuse. That's essentially it. I'm going to have to wait for the Axis to be stronger. Right now we only have Hungary in the Axis on the Balkan. Okay, so the good thing is here we only have 1 regiment of light armor. And here we don't know. Do we have a better bomber commander for 4th Squadron? Unfortunately, the British were able to escape with their carrier task force. Reggio Marina Trento took heavy damage. They will return to port. We do have a few naval successes that we can look back on. Piacenti, who commanded a medium bomber squadron, is now in command of a naval bomber squadron. Not a squadron technically, it's larger. 2 naval bomber regiments. My troops here are under pressure. I'm going to have to counterattack. Okay, finally they cease the attack when we're here, which buys us some time. I'm going to cancel the attack on Lamu as well. So we have 3 regiments of mountain infantry, 3 cavalry regiments, 3 infantry regiments, and 1. But that's about 3 divisions roughly. And there are a few regiments without any manpower. But in Lamu there is more, of course. There are 6 motorized infantry regiments, some cavalry, and some light armor. It's the deployment of troops in Albania. Let's check on our submarines and destroyers. We see some organization losses. I'm not sure what exactly is going on. We also learn about Portuguese militia. And we see more reinforcements moving in from the British. Another attack on HoI3. Presumably Trento took damage from naval bombardments. We have a lone destroyer flotilla, British. Improving our infantry. Super important. We'll switch out of this. Given that we have a lot of mountain infantry and marines, I believe it's useful to improve our special forces training. Anything nearing the end of production, just convoys and escorts in August. Destroyer flotilla by the end of September. More naval units in October. Let's counterattack immediately with the light armor that has arrived. We're getting lower and lower in organization. Eventually one of these attacks is going to break through. we might be able to take control of Lodwar. Then we have another way to counterattack. But Lodwar itself is exposed as well. And now we have the attack on Lomu. Oh, actually the Battle of Lomu is on our side. Even though we're attacking with only one division. Third Royal Tank Corps is completely disorganized. But we do get them to stop the attack on Wayir. Mountain infantry is still on its way. Strongly defended convoy spotted on the morning of July 24th, 1940 in the Mozambique Channel. In the meantime, Germany is able to move more forces towards the east. Okay, defensive support weapons upgraded. Let's get the upgrade on anti-tank weapons first. We also have some Ethiopian units moving in. Lodwar is even worse with depleted regiments. I hope that those are all... I suppose all the Belgian units are completely useless at this point. Maybe they don't have convoys, I'm not quite sure how the system works, but they're... My guess is that for some reason Belgium is not able anymore to supply manpower to reinforce its units. Maybe it doesn't have the IC as a government in exile, but it still has the units. But the units are basically useless, as you can see in these empty manpower bars at the bottom right. They're covered by chat window. Maybe I can... The problem, I always struggle with where to put the chat window. I don't know if this is any better. Maybe this is a more... Maybe it bothers people less over here. I'll put it there for the time being. OCB84, welcome to the stream. Might be lacking both IC and MP. Yeah, I think that's... Okay, now my game crashed, but luckily I did save. That happens sometimes when I tab out. But I did save just before I clicked out. Well, let me just restart this. Yeah, I think top right is probably less annoying. True. Although I have to say, I've had times where it was a lot less stable than it is right now. There was a time when something was wrong with the NVIDIA driver and was basically only able to play for about 10 minutes at a time, and then it would crash. Another positive is that saving is actually quite fast. It's easy to just save a game and do something outside and risk a crash. And sometimes on the forums you see people who are really struggling a lot with crashes, but I'm experiencing crashes, but with frequent autosaves and saving every time before I tap out, I think I can actually deal with them quite well. So let's bring back the main screen. We have spare IC. What happened? Demand for reinforcement IC goes down. Okay. How is this battle going? I'm going to cancel it because the two infantry divisions here as well are disorganized. And then what's wrong in Lodwar? The South African infantry managed to move in before the Italian regular infantry arrived. So now it's basically my militia division defending, because they move faster. They usually reach provinces before the regular infantry. But I mean, it's risky. No, I think I'd rather risk being pushed out of Lodwar again briefly than to further disorganize these three divisions in Wair. Right now my biggest problem is disorganized divisions. I think if all my divisions on the front line were organized, I could pretty easily deal with all the aggression. But I have to wait out organization regain. Here I wanted to pick up the 2 damaged units safely and bring them back to Toronto. people stopped playing at speed 5, they would crash a lot less. Yes, speed is also important. Normally I'm at around speed 2 or 3, especially when I'm in combat. And during the pre-war years I can go to speed 4, sometimes 5 if I'm playing in a small country. And the good thing is that the allies here are a bit clumsy with their attacks. I think if they concentrated, they would actually do quite well. They're moving in the 3rd division now to attack. Trade offer from Switzerland. I can't really afford to trade away supplies. Especially now, the 8 units of them. I was trying to buy supplies from Germany, but they were not offering. Actually, why don't I try to buy supplies from the Soviet Union? But I suppose if people start knocking on my door for supplies, they have already tried with the Soviet Union, which isn't selling to them either. Let's switch out some damaged units. So we have destroyers that need repairs and this light cruiser. While Giulio Cesare is fully repaired, the heavy cruisers are... Well, Bolzano is repaired. Okay. Going to do something else as well here. Going to split this fleet so the obsolete units. Wait. The modern units, even the ones that need repairs, will go into this fleet and we'll call it Toronto Naval Yard. And this will actually be the reserve fleet, the obsolete units that will likely not see any combat ever. We can assign an administrator commander here for the reserve fleet. No, we'll not call it reserve fleet, we'll call it Toronto Naval Yard. And if I knew the Italian expression for naval yard, I would use it. Maybe I can quickly look it up. Leo is a dictionary app that I'm using, but for the first time it gives me an error code 11. What's the problem? Let's just use Google Translator. yard. Cantiere navale, okay. Wonderful. Will not sell supplies to Colombia. Good morning, Eugene Tonic 85. Are you going to take Gibraltar and Malta, and are you going to stack the Soviet, and how? Yes, actually, the list. So once Italy got involved in the war, basically in the big war. I mean, there was a small war going on with Ethiopia, which is now our puppet, at the beginning of the game in 1936. And then later in 1939, we supported Germany as we formed the Axis with them, but we were completely unsuccessful in the along the Alpine frontier. We attacked several times, but we were unable to penetrate even one province into French territory. But we did bind quite a number of French divisions, I think, which helped the Germans to advance quickly and overthrow France. And we did manage to capture some of the Tunisian coast, even a small port, and some resources. We're getting 1.4 rares from Sousse. So, but overall very small gains against France. And then we had a very successful campaign in North Africa, extremely successful. Within a few weeks we overran Egyptians and British defending Egypt, and we captured the Suez Canal. Iraq joined the Axis, and together we took control of the eastern Mediterranean seaboard, except for the French controlled territories. And at the same time we were able, and I would again say this was kind of lucky, because the UK was not able to reinforce in time the area here. We were able to capture the French and British ports on the entrance of the Mediterranean Sea, of the Red Sea. And then I moved a lot of troops back to the Mediterranean. And then much later, we saw an allied counterattack in the south, and I was forced to reinforce Ethiopia again, which I'm still doing. I have moved in mountain infantry. I'm relocating HQs. I've brought in 6th CCNN division, which has infantry support tanks, and I even have a light armor division here. And right now I even have 5 submarine flotillas convoy raiding off the coast here. So Italian East Africa right now is a very big theater. If we look at, I mean, we can look at the the African High Command, because most of the African High Command is actually engaged in Ethiopia right now. What we see here, we have 23 divisions in Africa. I would say 15 of which are in Ethiopia. The light bombers that you see, they are in North Africa, mainly tasked with attacking Malta. But most of the land units are in Ethiopia. The medium bombers are in Ethiopia. The submarine flotillas are in Ethiopia. Or in the Indian Ocean, I should say. This is actually far away from Ethiopia. So that's why I have a lot of troops in Ethiopia. In theory, or previously, the plan was actually to take full control of the Mediterranean, which means Malta, means Cyprus. The British have retreated to Cyprus with some of their naval units from Egypt and Malta. I don't know what exactly they have in Gibraltar, but Gibraltar obviously would be an important target. And Greece, but I think Greece kind of dropped down a little bit. First of all, it's actually not as easy to attack here. Maybe with a landing, but it would require a lot more divisions that I can spare now. But I think what is realistic is Malta and Cyprus, and then Crete, and I think that would already Gibraltar, and then that would actually take care of a lot of the problems. And I think actually flipping Greece to the Allies would become less and less likely with the British out of the Mediterranean. So yeah, I think Malta is important. I also have 2 Marine Infantry divisions here. Right now I'm thinking about moving. I have 2 squadrons here that I wanted to move to the Indian Ocean, but it kind of turns out I think that might be an overcommitment. Yeah, I think I'll move them back to Toronto. I think probably the focus should be on Malta. We have a few infantry divisions close by that we could use as reinforcements. Especially the mountain infantry would be helpful. The infantry divisions here in Italy, they're not experienced. They've never seen combat. And the commanders aren't all that strong. Third and 4th division, they're not very experienced, but they have better commanders. Okay, now I think you are able to see this, but now I have this bug, which happens sometimes. That the UI bugs out. Okay, now I see all the commanders again. What about the... oh, here we have an experienced 7th Infantry Division. With a fairly skilled commander as well. Now it bugs out again, as you can see. Oh yeah, I don't know why this happens. But it's basically super annoying. Kind of can work around it when I click into the order of battle. It's annoying. I'm gonna see if I can play around it. It doesn't even show me the top, the commanding unit. Alright, this is annoying. I'm gonna have to restart. Sorry about this. Yeah, so Malta is definitely in the cards. I'm always a bit worried about overstretching my forces. Now about half my ground forces are engaged in Ethiopia. I don't really have a lot left in the Mediterranean. On the other hand, one could argue that taking out Malta and Cyprus and eventually Gibraltar would kind of alleviate that problem of overstretching, because the threat of the British in the Mediterranean would diminish, of course, with every base that they lose. there is a good argument to be made for temporary overstretching, but it is kind of risky. But it's probably the smart choice is probably to be risky about taking Malta rather than Greece. Okay, let's hope that the UI bug is dealt with. I think since it is July, let's take a few weeks to prepare. Losing some convoys here and there. That's interesting, why it doesn't capture these two sea provinces. Anyway, we're in a pickle again. Lodwar is where we are with our militia. That's fine. We're sinking Chinese transports. Problem is here. These divisions are basically out of organization, and I cannot counterattack really right now. Might have to cancel the movement of this division. Might have to be a reserve unit to defend if in case these three divisions retreat. Okay, successful convoy raiding. The British have moved in reinforcements here, I believe. There is an additional infantry division now. A lot of convoys going down, that's good. I was hoping to deprive the Allies of supplies here in Kenya. Counterattack with one division. But they have French divisions here as well. French infantry. Yeah, so the Allies are kind of committed here on the counterattack in East Africa. We run into a small British surface force. How? What's... Oh, that's the two fleets redeploying from Alexandria. Okay. See this as another opportunity to weaken British Navy. Like light cruiser goes down. They're fleeing north. Let's pursue. And reinforce. while we also have a carrier unescorted. Battle of Lodwar is lost. Italian militia is driven back right as 19th Division is moving in. Also the Battle of Lamu is lost. That was the attack. And Italian armor is out of fuel. Yeah, I have 6 CCNN division swing north, as this is where we are on the back foot right now. I think in this case the counterattacks here are pointless. We'll have 30th Division retreat over the river, so we can regain organization. Great offer from Hungary. Let's accept this, they are in the Axis. I mean, we're on a deficit anyway. But it's still okay. I want to maintain supplies level above 10,000. We catch up with the damaged light cruisers. Destroy a flotilla and 2 more light cruisers go down. See if we can catch some more of those allied ships. We have some spam in the chat. I'm not going to click out of the game right now, but please ignore that. Carrier Air Group Duty, that's a larger fleet. The British are back with Furious, a heavy cruiser and some destroyers. Going to send the damaged units back. We might lose a destroyer flotilla. Alberto Guisano also taking damage. We lose 19th destroyer flotilla. And Campioni is fleeing along with the enemy. That might not have been the best call. Okay, now the Italian infantry is back in Lodwar. Militia is still fleeing. think we'll manage to stabilize the front. Two destroyers go down, two destroyer flotillas of the British. Personally, I would like to sink the enemy carrier or heavy cruiser. Battle of HoI3 is lost as expected. 3 Italian divisions pull back, but we have 1 division setting up defenses in Buna. I'll retreat with 1st Squadron to Rodi. Liguria is heavily damaged. Yeah, I think Eugene Tonic is right. We should address the situation of the British Mediterranean fleet with their bases. They are a bit of a thorn in Italy's side right now. Then we have an attack on Chisimayo. So the CV is here. The CV is off the Greek coast. Moving south. They inflicted quite a bit of damage on my fleet, I have to say. I am surprised at that. I mean, if it weren't such a big deal to appoint a new commander, in terms of the organization hit that the units take, I would actually consider putting together a small force to reinforce my damaged fleets that have been retreating to Rodi. But I think once all squadrons have arrived in Rodi, I can reorganize some units. So now I have 3 squadrons here. Actually, second destroyer squadron did make it after all. Yeah, I'm going to not going to use any of those units. They're mostly damaged. This fleet still looks pretty strong, although we do have a penalty, of course. Oh, maybe. Let's switch out the older units. We'll reduce the penalty a little bit. Let's try this again. Let's try to intercept the British carrier task force, which is being bombarded right now. Okay, we ran into the British again. Hopefully we can finish off HMS Furious. It's not looking too bad. We have bombers from Rodi supporting. Furious taking more damage. They only lose a destroyer flotilla. I wonder where they are moving. Might be moving south. My fleet taking more damage. Duca degli Abruzzi heavily damaged. Yeah, I have to rebase. I can't take this fight anymore. Hopefully my naval bombers can finish off. It's too bad that this carrier doesn't go down. It's almost dead. But this is a fight that's too risky for me right now. Hopefully my naval bombers can catch them. Carrier air groups are able to protect them, I think. And now they're out of range of my naval bombers. I could try to go in with this force. Where are they right now? I don't even know which way they went. They might... Might have gone either way. Let's try the eastern route. And maybe our naval bomber spot. Maybe they are here. Probably trying to run back to Cyprus. Okay, hopefully now Furious does go down. When we get rid of the carrier air groups. It's high time we get our own carrier air groups. Escort carriers at least for some aerial defense. Good news from Somalia. We won the Battle of Chisimayo. Exeter proves to be extremely hard, didn't even take damage so far. Finally Furious goes down as well, along with 6 destroyer flotilla. We take moderate damage. Let's pursue now that the carrier air groups are taken care of. Although they might be operating from... Ooh, that's not good. British send a... a rescue task force, basically. 3 battleships, a heavy cruiser, 2 light cruisers. That's going to be bad for us. We have to see if we can retreat. Luckily, we don't lose anything. We can retreat south. Zara took heavy damage. Andrea Doria took heavy damage. And 16th destroyer flotilla. I think for now our navy is really not in good shape anymore. We're going to have to be careful from now on. The Ethiopians are moving in while the Italians are on the retreat. But maybe the Ethiopians can slow the Allies down for a while. This has bothered me. Three British battleships took damage as well. Now that they don't have their carrier groups anymore, it's actually not that easy for them. But the Italian Navy has been badly beaten. Basically only 3rd Squadron is now operational, although it only has some one fully operational, fully healthy heavy cruiser. This of course puts a dent into our plans with Malta. We're attacked in Chisimayo again. I'm wondering who sank HMS Furious. It was Vittorio Veneto. Nice. It's the first carrier sunk for Vittorio Veneto. And at this point we actually have sunk quite a few British carriers. I will assign the more healthy unit to 4th Squadron for Zara. Prioritize them for repairs. Compuni's 8th Squadron is not operational at this point. We see a large force here as well. That's one Italian submarine flotilla and Italian fighters. 2. So the rest is British. 2 carrier air groups, a carrier, 3 destroyer flotillas, a heavy cruiser, a light cruiser, and a transport. How do they still have... They must be running out of carriers at this point. I also want to check on German surface forces, because Germany did have battle cruisers and battleships. There's a few submarine flotillas in Norway, as well as naval bombers. There's only one submarine flotilla operational right now. Or operating, I should say. That's good. It looks like the Germans are able to conserve their surface force. They have 3 battlecruisers and 3 battleships. In France, a destroyer flotilla and a heavy cruiser and a light cruiser. One heavy cruiser sits in the channel right in front of British bombers and the light cruiser as well, which is a shame. But I suppose that's how things are right now. My units are moving extremely slowly because we're low on fuel. Are we low in fuel in general though, or are we just not able to? Why don't we have a convoy route? I suppose the problem is the AI is trying to ship supplies on the land route instead of on using convoys. Let's see if I can create a supply convoy from Toronto to Mogadishu. I think that's one of the problems that I'm having here with my divisions moving slowly. Okay, we now have metal storing problems, which means, as well as coal storing problems, which means we can cancel the trade with Germany. Let's cancel the smaller energy imports. We'll save some money. Carrier air groups in the Mediterranean, creating problems for our submarines. I'm long as they're just getting disorganized. The problem is, however, the destroyers. And yeah, so I'm gonna see if I can retreat them, save them. Wait, we have Jaguar table mount. Where is this? Okay. Let's see if we can help with the naval bombers. I never used them as interceptors. So I don't know how that works, but we'll see if we can help. Now we have our own interceptors helping as well. Yeah, first squadron taking damage. Yeah, we took a lot of damage, but now they're retreating into port, hopefully. Our own air cover helps, so they can survive. Okay, I'm going to play for a few more days in game, but then I'm going to interrupt the stream. After some semi-successful defense in Ethiopia and some semi-successful naval engagements. We're reducing upgrades to 0 right now. We're running a deficit of supplies. At least we have a convoy up again. The British are back with 2 carriers now. Battleship, 2 destroyer flotillas, a heavy cruiser, and 2 light cruisers. So, yeah, kicking them out of the Mediterranean becomes more and more urgent. At the same time, our submarines are struggling to attack the convoys that are supplying the allies in East Africa. This flotilla here has become largely obsolete, as there are no convoys being sunk here, so I'm going to move their area of operation further south. Naval engagement on the Tanzanian coast. It's a small transport flotilla protected by 2 destroyers or destroyer flotillas. Problem is they seem to have the upper hand. Effective positioning. We have better effective positioning. Guns distance 23 kilometers. That's the same attack modifier 30%. Defend modifier 121%. Roughly the same, our stats are slightly higher. Worse. Experience 10.3%. There's only 5.3% weather, minus 5%. Leader skill plus 10 leaders. They have the better leader. Apparently. Yeah, I think I have to invest ice to get rid of descent. Maybe that'll help. We did sink the British transport flotilla, although first destroyer squadron is taking damage. What's with the destroyers left? And we did take some damage here. Battle is still ongoing. I'll have 10th Destroyer Flotilla move out. I don't know how long the battle is going. Like the British are pulling away, and we should do the same. Hey Terori, good morning. Still our spinch until 4 AM. Yeah, I understand you need to sleep in. Unfortunately, you're catching me almost at the end of my stream. I'm just trying to clean up some issues. I had a small engagement right here off the coast of Tanzania with some destroyers that I have deployed to the Indian Ocean. Suppose I can pull back this destroyer flotilla as well. I'm gonna pull back these divisions before they're completely disorganized. Medium fuel tank, giving our medium bombers larger, greater range. Is still quite far away. My interceptors are doing a pretty good job at fighting British carrier air groups. Small arms advance. It's an infantry tech. Let's go for anti-air guns as a compromise. More toughness would be nice, but anti-air guns take longer to research. Carrier is back. Yeah, they don't like us convoy raiding. And right now we don't have any surface forces that will be able to engage the enemy. Courageous Baram, Frobisher, Cairo, Arethusa are on the attack. I can't retreat at the moment. Interestingly enough, we're not... wait, we can retreat, so let's do that. We didn't take too much damage, that's okay. Hungary would like supplies, but we're still running a huge deficit, so we're not going to accept this. Question is, can we buy supplies from anyone? From the Soviet Union, maybe? Nope. Germany is unlikely. For some reason we have a diplomat going to Germany, so we'll have to wait a bit. Who could we buy from? Can we maybe buy from some smaller neighbors like Yugoslavia? Unlikely, but I mean, we're running such a huge deficit, even big trades won't cover this. We basically have to reallocate production. A few units will finish soon, so I guess we'll just run the deficit for now. Battle of Lodwar. I'm going to lose this, so I'm gonna have this division retreat now. Well, I can still control it. This attack here is going nowhere, so we'll cancel it. Have the has the supply situation improved here? Not very much. But at least it did receive some fuel yesterday. Why is our fighter pilot training only model 1938? We're only researching 1940 levels right now. Yeah, we need to invest into better fighter pilots, or at least we can't let them get any worse. Okay, light armor has retreated. Infantry is following. So can we find out something about the supply situation? The local supply depot is Alexandria. Yeah, that's the problem. Because we closed the infrastructure gap here. Now the AI thinks it should use a land supply route. And it doesn't, it just stores fuel in Mogadishu. I mean, which isn't completely unreasonable because we have bombers and submarine flotilla stationed here. But it doesn't ship any supply. At least it doesn't ship any fuel. Now my light armor here is out of fuel. But I do have a transport unit. And I probably have to expand the infrastructure here as well, because the AI, I'm not sure if the AI will understand to move fuel from Mogadishu instead of all the way from Alexandria. As expected, the British light armor has moved in pretty quickly. Their light armor division has 4-2. What do we have? 4-3. I think this means that we're better at defending. But obviously for that we would need to have fuel as well. We need 9.39 fuel every day. How much fuel is here? No fuel in Ishia Baidoa. Okay. Carrier task force is back south of Sardinia. Considerable forces in Cyprus, 3 battleships, although damaged. 8 destroyer flotillas. 4 heavy cruisers. British light cruiser. Let's see if we can catch it. Bloodwar falls to the Allies again. Ooh, Zara heavily damaged. I don't want to be experimenting. How did she take damage? I guess it's damage from previous engagements. British keep pushing their attack. Now it's Buna. Mountain infantry has finally arrived. At least somewhat closer to the front. At least the previous day this armor division got more fuel, 100%. Now there is 1 day of fuel left. Soviet Union cancels a metal trade agreement. We do have some penalty on the metal stockpile. Actually on all the stockpiles, so probably not the worst. Ideally we'll be able to cover our deficit in supplies. But I don't know who's willing to sell supplies. Yes, Germany accepts 50 supplies. That will help some. Covers about a quarter of our deficit. Attack on Buna, of course. Feel that we have to counterattack. They cancel the attack on Buna. Which means we'll cancel the attack on Chisimayo. Some of the ships have repaired, so that's uplifting to see. Dazzara is our better admiral, so actually I want to give him the better units. And at this point, I'm willing to deploy a fleet if all ships are above 90%. But they will continue repairing while assigned to an active fleet. Haven't checked in on spies in a long time, but we're back to 10 domestic spies. How about foreign spies? We have spies in Greece, military espionage, and in the UK. Apparently they don't have any large naval units queued right now. We have one spy in Yunnan, and that's it. Otherwise we don't have any spying going on. I guess this is a bit of a weakness. But we don't have the leadership to invest otherwise. There's no defense right now in Serendli. We only have one division just about to move in. Finally, it did arrive. So yeah, unfortunately the Italian front has been pushed back about 220 kilometers. We used to control the northeast riverbank here of this river, just north of Nairobi and Mombasa. I think we also controlled not Kisumu but Lodwar and Jinja at one point. But I will see. The idea is to contain the allies south of Mogadishu. Could cancel this destroyer flotillas. Mission now. I used them to scout the Red Sea while I was moving troops. I'm executing naval strikes here. I'll go to switch to continuous port strikes. Speaking of port strikes, let's bombard Malta once more for a week with light bombers. We'll go and escort the damaged squadron here. Bring them back to Toronto as well. Let's check in on production. Escorts will finish. It's not something that we need a crazy amount of, but it's good to have some reserves. I will finish some more modern destroyers, that's good. And we're improving our industrial efficiency, wonderful. I think I'm going to keep this project. We'll finish next. Encryption and decryption would help our spies, which we just saw are not doing too great. It would be nice to pick up radar training. Fighter pilot training, fighter ground crew training. Is there something that we absolutely need from industry? We're quite far behind in those encryption and decryption techs. Yeah, let's pick them up quickly. They should be fairly easy to research. It'll still take until February 1st, but they're easier projects to research. We're getting close to this 10,000 units of supplies. British are here with a small surface task force. We're not really thinking much convoys anymore, and I'm not sure what the reason for that is. I have to make sure that they're not shipping into this port. Thinking a lot of convoys here. I have to read those messages a bit more careful. Because obviously this is a Portuguese port and we're not thinking their convoys, but maybe it is the UK importing rares from Portugal. I'm about to end the stream. I think I'm ending the stream here at this point, but before I do, let's quickly check on Japan and China. Japan making nice progress along the coast, and I think the last time we were checking, the front line was somewhere here, just south of Fushu. Now they've captured another port here, Xiamen. It's good, but they haven't taken any major city or airbase. Nanshang, I think they controlled Wuhan before. Along this river, at one point they moved up to Chengdu, the outskirts here. It looks like they are not in control of this province anymore. Front line hasn't really moved north towards the Mongolian border at all. Not quite sure what's happening here. It looks like there are fewer Japanese divisions overall in this theater, but I might be mistaken. I have a very small token force in the north. Soviet forces in the east not too strong, at least according to Japanese intelligence. Some stretches of the border are even completely unprotected. Lots of Japanese surface units in the South China Sea, along with submarines and carriers. I don't see... Yeah, now we see that the Japanese are sinking a lot of allied convoys here. They're not convoy raiding Australia and New Zealand's approaches. Probably British units here. Convoy raiding Japanese lines of communications. Okay. Let's see. Oh, Japan took control of Hainan. Looks like they... I don't know if they fought their way out of Shanxiang, which was a French colonial port, or whether they landed here. But now they have a few ports and an airbase here. Basically a second front against China. That's good. If they're lucky, they could take out the Guangxi clique. Maybe. At one point they were influencing Thailand. It looks like right now they're not influenced. They don't see Japan as their biggest threat. And they grant military access to Indochina, which is a Japanese puppet. But they're drifting towards the Allies. Rebels in Burma. Do you see anything else interesting? Persia was mobilizing at one point, but I think that's due to Soviet aggression here against Romania and Lithuania. Estonia, excuse me. Germany, did they conserve their fleet? There are only 2 battle cruisers and 1 battleship here now. The other ones are patrolling here off the coast of France. It looks like the Germans did lose. And I remember that they had a heavy cruiser in one of the ports here. And they might have moved it to Brest, or they have lost it to British bombers. Yeah, anyway, I think that's it. Otherwise we don't see anything too interesting. So I'm gonna conclude the stream here. I want to thank everybody who stopped by. Take care, and I'll see you soon.